Guys, welcome back to episode number 9 of Canadian Hustlers podcast. We're here together with Whisper Gardiner from Alternate Roots in Woodstock. She owns a gym, personal trainer, a holistic nutritionist, and she's going to share some really cool insights today about health and working out, fitness, and whatever comes with it. Welcome.
Thank you
for joining.
Thanks for having me.
A little bit of an introduction. Where did you grow up? How did you came where you are today?
So I grew up in Woodstock, and I don't really know how there was a bit of a journey. I've always been a little bit of an entrepreneur, or had that sort of mindset. I like to do things a little bit outside of the box.
Yeah.
So definitely a little bit of a rebel in that way. You say one thing, I will go the other.
Yeah.
So I always have been a little bit like that. But I started, as an artist and in school, all of that sort of, was really intriguing for me. I did dramatic arts and that sort of stuff.
Okay.
So I've always been very creative.
Yeah.
Didn't really know what to do with that, and once I hit photography class in high school, that seemed to be what I could make money with. So
That's awesome. I did the same thing.
yeah, that's just kind of like people were like, "Oh, you're good at this. I'll pay you for that." Mm-hmm. Okay, cool. Like I'll make a price list, I guess. I don't know. That's just how it went. So I ended up as a professional photographer. I did that for quite a few years. Worked in photo labs and did all of that sort of stuff. So
that was in Woodstock?
That was in Woodstock.
Okay.
Yeah, I did that probably for about 5 years.
Yeah.
Did it really well. I shot between 18 to 25 weddings a year, which was great. I had a good business going. But I felt like I was just sitting too much. I didn't like the editing part. I liked the people part. So I like to take photos and be with people and boss people around.
Playing with them. Yeah.
Right? You have to do that. So that was really great, but I hated editing. So, I actually got hired to do a destination wedding in Mexico, and I realized I needed to be in a bathing suit in front of a bunch of people.
Oh, okay.
So I joined the gym.
Yeah.
So then I ended up working out with a trainer. They really liked me where I was working out. They liked my personality. They told me I needed to be a trainer.
Wow, okay.
So I wasn't really loving what I was doing as a photographer, so it was great. Both those jobs were really wonderful because I could do a little bit of photography and a little bit of training and slowly transition out of one and into the other, which you don't generally have with working
as a full-time job. You wouldn't have that.
You couldn't do that with almost either of those things.
Yeah.
So it was perfect for me because then I could just slowly transition.
It's kind of the life of the entrepreneur though too, right? You can transition because, first of all, you're not used to an every week paycheck.
No.
So you can kind of just transition and okay, I'll spend a little less, I'll move over, I'll try this.
Yeah.
And you move over from business to business a lot easier. I find people that have full-time work, they have a really, really tough time.
Yeah, understanding the income changes. I find that I'm just kind of like, well, this is how it works. Sometimes you make a lot more money and then sometimes you make less and you just balance that. I've always just done that. Yeah. So, and I've always just worked hard. If I'm not making enough money, then I just work harder.
Or get a side hustle again, get going.
I'm just like, okay, well, I don't have enough money, or I want to go on vacation, or I want to you just take on some more clients, or you just put on a promotion or something like that.
What can I do?
And that's kind of what I did as a photographer. It was just me by myself, so I could do that, and that was easy, right?
Yeah.
So, I slowly transitioned out of that, started working full time as a personal trainer. I loved it. I loved working out. Wasn't something I ever did before that. So I really got, interested and intrigued about the way that it made me feel.
Yeah.
I was always happy. I never didn't think I was a happy person. And I liked life, but I didn't really know that it could be better. And it just became better. Everything became so much better because you just felt good.
Yeah.
You slept good, you were happy, you were proud of yourself, you were strong, you ate good food, so your mood was good. Everything just was clicking.
It builds up. Yeah.
So then I just became just really good at everything I was doing. And I had to lose a lot of weight. Like, I mean, sitting and editing photos for, you know, all day, every day.
Right.
I mean, all I would do is like edit and then eat grilled cheese and then edit.
Yeah.
That's my life.
Like, that was all I did. So, you know, I was quite overweight. And I needed to stop, obviously, doing that.
Yeah.
And so I did. And then I lost a bunch of weight. And as I was losing a bunch of weight, that's intriguing for people. They always want to know what you're doing and why you're doing it. And so then it helped me, you know, help other people too.
Yeah.
So, and that has just been a process. It's always a process. It's still a process. You
Never stops.
Never stops.
No.
Especially in the gym. Like, when you find something that makes you feel good, you just keep working for it. And it doesn't have to be a competition with anybody or even like necessarily with yourself. It just is a matter of like going in and being present with yourself and doing what you can that day.
Right.
And I find that that's super rewarding. And then that translates to how you feel outside of the gym. Right? So you carry that into everyday life. It's not about being like the biggest, baddest, you know, fitness competition winner ever, you know, in the universe. It's literally about just being like the best you. Like being a little bit more patient with.
You know you can be with yourself anyway. You know what I mean? Like, be the best version of yourself.
Yeah, well, I mean, I think that's what we're all striving for.
Yeah.
You know, nobody ever like yells at somebody and is like, I'm so proud of that moment.
No, it just doesn't happen.
No, it doesn't happen. You always regret those moments. So allowing yourself to be present with yourself in the gym, or, you know, recognizing when you're indulging in food that you aren't really wanting to, but you're just doing it to do it. And actually having control over that, and maybe taking a step back and being a little bit more mindful before you eat that food. You go, do I really even want to eat this, or I'm just eating it out of habit, or I'm eating because I'm rushed or whatever. Living a little bit more presently and like, you know, thinking about your thoughts before you're having them, or actually being present.
It's true. That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
That's a big problem. Like, I eat because I'm rushed.
Yep.
And like, you just eat because it's habit, because you sit down at night. And the thing is, I eat because I feel it's like a reward.
Yeah.
Which is wrong, but it's just like, I get done a deal, I'm like, oh, I'm gonna order some pizza.
Right.
Because it's great, and it feels good. But really, I should celebrate another way. But
Totally. And I think just even recognizing like that you did a great job and being proud of yourself, and even just having that thought and like maybe sitting with that for a minute before you order the pizza.
Yeah, I know. It's true.
Right.
And becoming aware of the win. I think that's a big thing too. For a lot of people, simply understanding of, hey, I did this today.
Yeah.
Right. That's the first thing. Being aware of, hey, I accomplished it.
Yeah.
Now, how can I celebrate it for myself?
And
is that indeed a pizza, or is it getting all the workout in?
Yeah, or like, is it a dance party in your living room?
Yeah.
Or you call your mom?
Yeah.
Like, you know, those are great things, you know, and they can be just as rewarding. Getting another workout in, or like going for a run and thinking about what you did, or for a walk, or like whatever it is, spending time with your family, because you don't have to work now because you just closed a deal.
Yeah.
So now I can just like set my stuff aside and be present with the people that I love, right? And I think that's
a lot of people, they
rewarding.
get like, how do I say this? They forgo the gratitude. Like, they don't feel like they deserve it. So you have a win, and you're like, oh, it's not that big of a deal. I better keep pushing. I don't have time to celebrate. I better keep going.
Yes.
And a lot of people don't celebrate their wins.
Yeah, and I think sometimes, you know, you have to recognize that if you have this like long-term goal of a win, or whatever it is that you're working for, and this is where we get really hard on ourselves and where business becomes, or, you know, gets the best of us, is when you're working for this like long-term goal here, and that's the only thing that you can see.
Yeah.
So along the way, this is the only thing you're thinking about. Okay, so it takes you 2 years to get to this goal, and those 2 years, you were absolutely miserable. You gained 30 pounds. You didn't sleep at night. You potentially are creating more risk for disease. You maybe aren't great in relationships that you have, and maybe you have a couple of those fights that you don't really, you know, like having, or you may regret later. And then you hit that 2-year reward and you get it. And then what happens?
Yeah.
It wasn't worth it.
No, you have to enjoy the process.
And it's really hard. I think
is.
that part is really hard for a lot of people to do. And I think that's why taking your health and fitness as a priority in your life and putting yourself first before those things, not saying that those things aren't important and your business isn't important and that those things aren't goals that you shouldn't have. They're all great and they're motivating and they're wonderful because we live, right? We always, is the driver, especially for a type A personality like myself, you need to be doing something. But I don't need it to be before my family or before my relationships or before even just a conversation with a stranger. You know, the way that you speak to people translates in energy and it travels. So if you're having a bad day and you go to the store and you're a jerk to the person,
you get it back.
It'll come
it all
around.
comes back. Like you have a bad day, and then the people, like if you're mad, everyone seems to be mad.
Totally.
It's weird how that works. It's really
them.
weird.
It's not
them. It's you.
It's
You. It's weird, but
it's actually hard for me because I know that. So then I'm extra hard on myself. I know it's me, and now I'm mad because I can't control my mood. You know, so it's really good once you start to recognize these things. So being mindful, I would say, and it's a very vague term, but if you can recognize those habits that you've kind of gotten yourself into, you might indulge in pizza again, and then you might feel like crap again, and then you might go, next time I'm not going to do that. And then you don't do it the next couple times and you forget how you feel after you eat it. And, you know, not saying that pizza makes you feel like crap, but
it's weird, right? You're saying that too. Like, you eat healthy, so you feel good. And you eat healthy, you feel good. But for some reason, you just stop. I don't know, and a lot of people have the same problem. They'll just stop eating healthy.
Yeah. And I think it's because we forget what makes us feel good. I think we start to get tied up in the hustle and bustle of life. Social media has a huge impact on the way that we feel about ourselves. We look at other people's successes and we want those. We see what other people are doing and we want to create those ideas, and they're not genuine to yourself. So I think it's really important to create a daily practice, whether you are into meditation or you're into yoga, and you don't have to be. You can just journal. You can sit with yourself in the morning and do a journaling process to kind of bring yourself connected to what your agenda is for the day, so that you know what your goals are. You're not doing it for anybody else. And often when we're by ourselves, we can be more true to ourselves. We can take a couple deep breaths. And there are some techniques and tools out there that can help you do that, but it can be really as simple as, honestly, just setting a great mantra for the day. So if you have an affirmation you like, or a positive quote, or whatever.
I think that's huge.
Find one of those every day. Like you can Pinterest that.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Right?
You can
big time.
You can pick a new one every day.
I agree with you. Sit with
down.
yourself in the morning. I try to do that. I try to have a coffee in the morning and sit with myself just for at least 10 minutes. I know it's not much, but it's just some time to just focus on your day.
But how often do you wake up thinking about your to-do list and then forget to set your intentions?
So I know. I've started to set my intentions more. I know where you're coming from, and I used to do exactly what you're talking about. Like you wake up and you're already stressed. Because you're like, I got to do this, and this, and this today, and that's the wrong attitude. So if you wake up and you think about your first you have a moment with yourself and you think about your day and you just you appreciate what you've accomplished. Those kind of things. You could go through the gratitude, that kind of stuff, and then focus on your day.
Absolutely.
I think the big thing is
everyone has a different process, right? But
I think it's great. As long as it doesn't matter what your process is, right? And everybody has different things and different rituals and things that make them feel good. I think it's just really important to sort of ground yourself and create that presence and practice, because when you're out, then you leave that really peaceful moment, and then you're out at the grocery store with all the jerks of the world around you, or whatever. Then you need to try to rein it in, right? So then you have to find that presence again. Or if you're working with clients and you're really busy and maybe it's just like an uncomfortable scenario or whatever. You have to be able to have some sort of tools to call on. You need some breathing techniques. You need to be able to ground yourself to get through those moments, because everything isn't always, just go as
planned. I tend more and more
right?
not to take those kind of clients on anymore.
Yeah, which
and
is
it's really, really hard. It's really
still come.
They still come. They still come. But like more and more, I like it doesn't gel sometimes.
Yeah.
And I'd rather not work with them. I'd rather actually send them off to someone else. I think I do them a disservice to help them.
I agree. I think that is absolutely great to recognize. And, it's a reason why I have trainers that work with me, right?
Yeah.
Because I like to do certain types of things. I definitely live a more holistic lifestyle. I'm a little bit, hippie-ish when it comes to that sort of stuff, like live a chemical-free life. And I try to get, I try to educate my clients on doing the same thing, but not everybody really wants that. And so sometimes it's important to recognize that, and that maybe it's better for them to train with somebody else. We also all have different skill sets. So it's really important to put the person with the right trainer who has the right skill set for them. So we all have different experiences, which makes a difference on, with our own specific health journeys, but we all have different things we're passionate about, different equipment we like to use, different things that, and bodies work so different, all of us.
Everybody's individual. Right?
So sometimes you like to swing around a kettlebell, sometimes you like to use a TRX, sometimes it's body weight. I personally like to swing around the steel mace these days, which is like super
Seen that
empowering.
Actually, that's kind of
cool. It's friggin' awesome.
So to get back to that, you started as a personal trainer after you were a photographer.
Yes.
You slowly rolled into it. You didn't have your own gym at that moment yet.
No.
When did that kind of start happening, and how did it got to be?
So after 5 years of working with women only, I started to realize that weighing and measuring them and trying to be super diligent and restrictive and following this like to a T program or following these meal plans and putting more stress on these women, it just wasn't working for them. And it not necessarily wasn't working for them. They would see good results. I would weigh them, then it would destroy them. Then they'd eat, all of the food and not see me for a week or whatever. And that was just like heartbreaking to me. When you start working with clients and you see them, a couple times a week, and you're seeing them for a year, years at a time sometimes, right? Like, you become very attached to them, and you want them to be successful, and you want to try to avoid the things that are stopping them from achieving their goals. So what I started doing was cutting out weighing, measuring. I stopped being so critical on their nutrition. I started getting them to be more mindful, all of these sort of things. And then I started to realize there's more than just exercise that makes you healthy. And started to learn more about the body, about hormone balancing, about chemical-free living, how much estrogen is actually in our products that we use on a daily basis. So we have man-made estrogen called xenoestrogens in a lot of our beauty care products or body care products, and they're disrupting your hormones. So that's why a lot of times women have a hard time losing weight, is because they're estrogen dominant.
Interesting.
So then even though they do exactly what prescribed in the gym, they're
sucking it in.
They're not going to get results as well as somebody who doesn't have that imbalance. And a lot of women will struggle with PCOS or endometriosis or any of those sort of already imbalancing hormone issues. And so then you have to be mindful of that. You can't just be like, well, you need to work harder.
That is not going to work.
Okay, let's do more CrossFit and let's break yourself, and then it just put more stress on the body. Okay, do CrossFit and do it well and execute those moves well. And if you're not seeing the results, that's a challenging workout. So if you're doing that already, that part isn't broken. You need to keep doing your exercise, and then you need to try to figure out what else is, going on. So I started to dig just a little bit deeper with that. And you know what? It led me to become a registered holistic nutritionist. So I was able to learn more about the body, learn more about food, chemical-free living, what stuff our chemicals are in, you know, Glade plugins, our perfumes that we use, you know, environmental toxins, you know, so not just what we are consuming nutritionally, but also what you're putting in your household, what you're cleaning with, all of that stuff needs to go.
Yeah.
It's making you toxic, it's making your body work harder, it's stressing you out more. So then losing weight is just not even its first priority at all.
So how do you test for all that?
I don't do any testing. So as a holistic nutritionist, that's not really in our scope. We mostly go based on symptoms. So, which is really great for me because mostly what I do is talk to people on the gym floor. So I don't need to really do any testing, but I do have people within Woodstock that I will send if I think like, okay, you have some food sensitivities that you need to, you know, get checked or some hormone
I did that actually
balancing.
with the veils and stuff.
Yeah.
That was cool.
Yeah, and you can do, there's
works,
some muscle testing and BIE and just like stuff out there that really works well to find out those things. And then they can bring those tests back and I can say, okay, so this is what you need to do. And honestly, even with those, it's just motivation to just not eat those foods.
Right.
That's hard.
Yeah, I have to provide.
Very hard,
like you can get all the tests you want done, but if you
have a wheat allergy,
Yeah.
okay, and just keep eating bread.
Yeah, right. Like if bananas comes back on your food allergy and you keep eating bananas, you're not going to see the results. So it is just sometimes just sticking with that and being consistent. So that's why I try to stray away from the like one answer or like the one solution sort of scenario.
Yeah, well, I think that's a really interesting thought. And a lot of girls and even guys, there's often a thing, hey, I got to go to the gym. Mm-hmm. You know, that's the first thing that comes up.
Yeah.
Hey, I'm getting fat. I'm not feeling good.
Mm-hmm.
My stamina is not that well. I got to go to the gym.
Yeah.
That might be the first step, but it's not always the cause.
Yeah, and it's important not to let that go. It's important to go to the gym.
Yeah.
And then not just to go, okay, and now I'm going to do this diet and then stop going to the gym. It's like, it really is consistency and it's long term.
Lifestyle change.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
and
even before hitting the gym, and if you don't like the gym, if you don't feel like going, it is easy to say, hey, what else can there be?
Yes.
Right? Is there certain makeup that I'm using that is affecting me?
I always
Are there certain...
Yeah, always joke, like, it's so much easier to switch your bar of soap than stop eating pizza.
Right?
Like, legit. Like, so if you can take some of that toxicity out of your life and out of your body, all of a sudden your organs start to thank you and they start to let go of that toxicity. You may start to digest your food a little bit better because of it. And then a lot of that is like bringing down your stress levels also. So
that's a big thing too. Stress is huge.
Absolutely, but it comes in all those forms. So if you're getting rid of toxic stress, then you might be able to manage like emotional stress or like stresses on the daily from work or whatever a little bit better, which is important. And then you might be in the frame of mind to go to the gym, right? If that's not your first
They say
step.
like gym is 20% of it. The food is 80.
Yeah.
I mean, within reason, obviously.
I think
but
that they say that for sure. I just find like when exercise is like the glue, like for me personally, like I just need it. And it doesn't have to be anything crazy, although I like to do some crazy stuff, but it just has to be present. I just have to.
Yeah, you have to be there.
I play hockey 2-3 times a week. Without that, I don't know. Like I need to do something.
But after you do that,
it feels great. The feeling, even when I used to go to the gym, the feeling after you go to the gym is amazing.
Oh, it's the best.
And especially when you sat there in the morning, you're like, I don't want to go. Yeah. And then you get done your workout, you're like, oh, I'm so glad I went.
And you're set for the whole day.
You feel so good.
Yeah, you never feel bad after you do a workout. Yeah. Honestly. Like it totally sets the mood for the day, and I think that is a huge antidepressant. Like I think it's something that people need to call on maybe a little bit more regularly when they're in a really crappy scenario or situation.
Yeah, working out, walking nature, that kind of stuff.
Oh yeah,
it's
like you don't need
huge.
to go to the gym to get that feeling. Yeah. That's for sure.
Yeah.
Like you
go for a long walk. Like I think a lot of people that's step one.
Here's something else though to think about is not just to do those things again mindlessly. I think it really comes as that package. So like you can go to the gym and just lift a couple weights and just go and then leave and then it not change your mindset at all.
Yeah.
You know, you could go for a walk in nature thinking you're going to do something restorative for yourself and then only be thinking about the things that are stressing you out. And or like you go with a girlfriend and then you just gossip the whole time and then when you go home you're even more revved up, right? So like you gotta be careful.
I do it all the time. No.
Right? And I think that's why I try to choose forms of exercise that allow me to disconnect and maybe are a little bit more challenging for the brain so that I can and or have to be present.
Yeah.
That's why I like hockey. My phone stays in the dressing room. I don't have it on me. It's not around. I'm not listening to music.
And if you're not paying attention, you're gonna get
you're gonna get run over, right? So it's actually great. It's like I'm totally disconnected. It's like an hour and a half. It's great.
Yeah.
It's really, really good.
Well, we just touched on that, right? Disconnecting with the phone. I think it's a real big issue.
Yeah.
I myself stopped touching my phone for the first 45 minutes after I get out of bed.
Good for you.
That really helped.
Depends what time I get up.
Well,
for me, it does really help. Yeah, for sure.
Because every time it was like, okay, wake up, phone, email, and I started going already.
I know.
Work, you know?
It's so hard.
But it's not hard to leave the phone out for 45 minutes.
No.
Especially when you just wake up, it's not that hard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And just those little things.
Well, they say like your bed should actually be where you sleep. So you're not supposed to look at your phone in bed.
So there's a lot of issues also with electromagnetic fields in your phone. So this is where you start to think I'm a little crazy, but
no, that's okay.
it's important.
There's obviously some truth to that.
So they say that your electronics are supposed to be at least 4 feet away from your bed. Sometimes you have a smart meter also on your house, and if it's behind the wall where you sleep, that can be disrupting your sleep.
Okay.
You have to be at a certain hertz to like actually fall asleep. So to get into like a really good REM sleep, you need to come down, and so those electromagnetic fields actually decrease your melatonin production and that allowance to sleep. Mean? So when you create melatonin, you will get sleepy and you'll start to feel tired. So if your circadian rhythm where like cortisol rises and melatonin lowers and it goes back and forth, it's on this natural rhythm throughout the day and then throughout the night. And then obviously within the first 20 minutes of when you wake up, that's when you have that highest cortisol spike, that sort of thing. So that you want to happen naturally. Well, what happens is with the electromagnetic fields, it can hinder you making melatonin properly.
Okay.
The blue light does that on your phone, especially as well. So there's a little combination there. So on your phone, when you stare at it, it'll be like a blue tinge, or like your TV or your computer. So I encourage you, if you are on your phone late at night or before you go to bed, even before you go to bed, I have mine set so that at 8 o'clock it turns to an orange light.
Oh yeah, night light kind of thing. Okay, that's the reason behind that.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So do it on your phone and do it on your computer.
Yeah.
And then I would put your electronics away from your bed. If you use your phone as an alarm, you can set your phone on airplane mode. And then still have your phone beside your bed, but it not have the electromagnetic.
Now we found a really good conspiracy theory.
Yeah.
No, it does make sense.
Airplane mode, they still track your phone.
But the electromagnetic fields don't communicate.
I think I've seen a tester on that. You put it on airplane mode and it goes way down.
Yes. Yeah.
You actually have an electronic tester. It's kind of cool.
Okay.
Yeah, I have one as well.
Yeah, so you probably know that when you hit an airplane mode, it goes way down, right?
Yeah, and you can see the messages coming in on this wavelength. And I actually know this because, unfortunately, I moved beside a power line. So,
I was just going to talk about that.
Yeah, so it was just like...
It's a weird feeling underneath those things.
Yeah, so a lot of, things happened to me, and, I obviously can't prove them, but, we weren't sleeping very well. I had some animals pass away, all my fish died. So it was just very, very short, we only lived there for 8 months. So I was like, I gotta get out of here.
Yeah.
I'll be honest, when I drive underneath those towers, I feel weird.
Really?
Honestly, go drive down Tower Line Road for like a half hour or 20 minutes. And tell me and maybe now because I'm saying it, you might look for something.
Some
but
people
I feel
are affected
odd.
more than others, for sure.
Yeah.
And I've had people say they get like anxiety attacks when they're driving like down Parkinson Road.
Really?
And they didn't know why. And then when we talk about these things, then it comes up. So you can't see them, and that's why you can get a meter and you can see it. But until I walked I would say about 5 or 6 houses up the road, then the meter went back into like a normal range. So you can see it if you have it or you're concerned about it. But yeah, those are things that, we try to talk about and or try to educate on at the gym. So everything is very holistic in the sense that we're trying to better your health. We're trying to increase your longevity. We're not just trying to increase your muscle mass, which is also something that you want and can be super proud of and make you feel really good. But we also want you to live really long, and we want you to be strong living long. It's like there's no point in living a long life when you feel like crap.
No.
So they have to kind of go hand in hand together. And if you're doing fad diets or you're doing things that are very temporary, you're going to constantly yo-yo and you're never going to actually be successful. I don't want you to, be on your deathbed and be like, your whole life wishing you lost 10 pounds. Like, that's irrelevant.
Yeah.
Like, nobody looks at you and guesses how much you weigh.
No.
They have no idea. And so don't carry that number around with you in like all day. It's like setting the wrong affirmation in the morning by getting on the scale and telling yourself you're fat. That's the opposite thing you want to do for the day.
Not smart.
Not smart.
No.
So if you want to have a good productive day, you don't need to get on that scale. It's going to get you closer to feeling better for yourself. Go do something for yourself that makes you feel good, right? Like that's what you have to do. And it's that consistency. It's doing something every day. You're allowed to have an hour to yourself every day doing something that you love.
A minimum, hopefully.
Right, exactly.
Right?
Yeah, totally. But you find yourself drained from the day and sitting on the couch or whatever the case may be, right? And like, how many Netflix episodes did you watch when you could have done, even some stretching on the floor or walked your dog or,
I always say, I don't have time to work out. It's a lie. I look at my screen time, my phone, I'm like, I have time.
Yeah.
You spent 2 hours on social media today. You have time.
Yeah.
It's a lie.
I think that's why I like the unconventional training too. It's super easy technique and tools out there for you to pick up and grab. And we teach them at the gym, but you can do them at home. I'm starting to build some online programming just for like literally people like you where you're like, I'm busy, but I have about 20 minutes right now.
Yeah.
I need to pick up this kettlebell or I need to pick up this mace, swing it around a bit, get my sweat on, and then I can
In this moment, I
have time. And then you don't need to go to the gym. You don't need all the barbells and all the weights or the machines. It's very functional. We teach body weight training, so you don't even need to use a tool. If that's your thing, if that's
if you don't, you use what you have available, right? And that's how you're training in a sense.
Yeah.
So if you don't have any barbells, you like you said, there's all kinds of exercises you can do that'll that'll do to get the same effect.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what you're saying, just not only a personal trainer, you're helping people make them feel better throughout the day.
Yeah, I hope
right?
so. I really feel that way about the people that come in. It really is a community. Everybody is really super cool, and when they do something that they're proud of themselves for, it's like the best moment.
I believe it.
Yeah.
It's the best feeling.
Oh,
that it fills you up, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's awesome.
So you have a podcast?
We have a podcast. Yep, Carly and I.
What's it called?
It's just called Alternate Routes.
Cool,
with
okay.
Whisper and Carly.
But all the same, might as well, right?
Yeah.
So we just wanted to get more education out there. We wanted to talk a little bit. Not everybody comes to us for sit down stuff. And when you come to the gym to work out, we want to focus on working out. So unless you're booking a nutrition consult with me, which I don't find necessarily as productive as an exercise.
Right. I can see that.
I think that the consistency is there. I learn more about you when you're training with me or coming to the gym or you're seeing in classes. Like, I know everybody, I know what you're doing, I know what you're eating. People were always available to talk, anyway. So I don't find people are booking those one-on-one sessions as much, but I think some of this information is useful for them, and it may not come up necessarily in a conversation, one-on-one, because they may not know, that they need to avoid these certain things or whatever. So talking about it in a podcast format is pretty cool. Yeah, I really like it, and Carly's really funny. She's super sarcastic, and so we're very opposite. So I really feel like it's a very interesting little scenario.
Alternate roots.
Cool.
Mm-hmm. Alternate roots.
Where did the name come from?
One of my clients was wearing a shirt. It had like running shoes on it, and it just said "Seek alternate routes" on it.
Cool.
Oh,
okay.
cool.
And I just really liked it.
Yeah.
So that spoke to you, and then that's why.
Yeah, I was like, yeah, that's exactly what it's all about. Seeking alternate routes. Like, if you're out for a run and you take the path less traveled, it's always so much more beautiful, right?
It is. Yeah.
So you just kind of want to explore different things in life and kind of again think outside the box and
100%.
challenge things and experience life maybe a little bit differently, and recognize that it's okay that you don't march the same beat as somebody else. If whatever's working for somebody else doesn't always work for you. So it's really important to be true to yourself. We're all very different human beings, and we all different things light us up, and it's really important to do the things that light you up, not what your neighbor likes or even your significant other, right?
Yeah.
So it's really important that you recognize with your significant others that you're living life together. Doesn't need to be the same.
Yeah, you got to do your we have the same thing. I let her do what she likes to do, and I do what I like to do, and we help each other out that way. Yeah, and together you do something that you both like.
Yeah.
Right? Because she likes ultimate frisbee. I don't. Okay, it's just not. It's not my thing. Okay.
Yeah.
But so go ahead, go play. I'm not gonna be like, no, you can't play because I don't like it.
Right.
I'll do my own thing.
Yeah,
right?
of course.
And that's So that's a big thing. A lot of people, they don't gel that way.
Yeah, same with Mike. He's naturally fit, which irritates me a little bit, but he's so strong. He can just do anything. He bikes. He likes to bike. He likes to snowboard. He can do chin-ups. He can walk on his hands. I don't even know. He's just superhuman.
Built for it.
Built for it. Yeah, I gotta work hard for it. So
and which one is better? That's the question, right?
Yeah, and you know what? And we just like different things. We're the couple out on the block. If we were running, he's sprinting, and he's like, "See you later. I'm going home." And I'm like, "Okay, well, I'm actually going to go for a run." I'm distance, right? I'm slow, and and neither of those one is better than the other.
No.
We're both moving.
It's whatever you like.
Yeah, it's fine. Yeah, so we try. We tend not to do things together, exercise-wise, just because we both like different activities, but we do like to be out in nature. So I think that's kind of where we come together as a couple, and we have a daughter. She's 2, so we want her out there and exploring and doing those sort of things as well. So hiking and swimming and all of that sort of stuff is fun, right?
That's busy too. Running a business with a daughter, that's 2. That's a lot of work. Yeah, I can see
Yeah,
that.
it was definitely challenging to say the least. It was a little bit of a game changer for sure. Yeah, it's you stop just thinking about yourself, and you do have to think about somebody else.
It goes beyond you at that moment. Yeah.
Yeah, and then you value this other human being,
It's crazy how much you don't know where it comes from. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's crazy. I want to experience life with her too. So I've had to find my happy balance with that. And before with business, I could just do everything. I had all the time in the world, and I was available for everything. It didn't matter because I was taking care of myself, and I would sleep when I would sleep and whatever. And so that was fine. And now that's not the case because, you have bedtime routines and, they're there when you wake up.
Yeah.
I didn't have any time before the baby showed up.
Right? I'm just like, oh man, to not have a 2-year-old right now, I could get that stuff done. But it's got to wait till tomorrow. And so you actually, it's a life lesson for sure, and that's kind of what I've learned from it, is like it's slowed me down a little bit, and allowed me to focus on only the things in business that are worth my while and that I love. So it's allowed me to narrow down to the things that I feel like I can put my energy full-heartedly into, but also that people want. I'm not just doing everything anymore. It's just like, this is what I love to do, and this is what people are asking for, and we're just gonna do that. We're gonna do it really well. And so actually it's kind of been a really great sort of change for me, because now I feel like I'm a little more focused and my time is more valuable for sure. It's taken me, almost 3 years. She'll be 3 in October. It's taken me 3 years to adjust that, which is like a hard thing to kind of think back on.
I think it's a never-ending adjusting thing as well. Then they start going to school and they have different things, and it's just
Yeah, and I don't really know what the future, entails, but if that was kind of the lesson that I had to learn and allowed me to focus my energy a little bit more, then I appreciate that. I think it's cool. Yeah, kids are interesting, that's for sure.
So holistic nutritionist, what does that mean?
So we like to see the body as a whole.
Okay.
So when you have an ailment or something going on in the body, we don't just see that specific symptom or wherever it's necessarily coming from. We try to find that root cause or that root issue. And I kind of do that with everything. So even we do fascial stretching as well at the gym. So stretching the fascia of the body, which is the connective tissue. So if you're having pain or stiffness in a certain area of the body, we can try to find where it's coming from, because usually it's not coming from exactly where you're having that pain source.
Okay, right, yeah.
So then with fascial stretching, we're allowing that connective tissue to stretch all the way across the net of the body. So you can kind of think of them as like a spider web, and they run on different lines from head to toe. So one fascial net may run from like the tip of your toe to the top of your head. So if you have tight fascia in one area of the body, it could be affecting you all the way down.
Yeah.
So that again is sort of like a holistic view.
Yeah, okay. So it's a full body approach.
It's a full body approach, yes. And it is very, I would say holistic definitely represents probably more of the clean living sort of society, and people who live a little bit more naturally, want to try to, heal their body with, more stuff that is not synthetic.
Yeah, that comes from nature.
Yeah, that comes from nature.
Yeah, and that's always been that way until 100 years ago, maybe?
Yeah.
When Big Pharma started to take over.
Yeah. And, again, that's all sort of propaganda and marketing and all of that sort of stuff that you have to kind of be your own self-advocate, right? You have to question everything when it comes to that, especially food products. Like, I mean, even like healthy food products, it's like they'll plaster quinoa on the front of the box just to like, tell you it's, to sell it, because they know that you think quinoa is healthy.
Yeah, sounds bad. Sounds so good. Right?
So, but like the first 5 ingredients might not even be quinoa. so you have to read these things. You do, and again, that's that being present and that mindfulness that comes in. It's like not just running into the grocery store and grabbing your same old. It's like spending a little bit of time and being leisurely about it, and not being like I need to be somewhere else when you're actually in the grocery store shopping. Like, just be there grocery store shopping, right? If you're in the shower. Like, if you're walking, walk. Like, if you're eating, eat. That's like the worst. So like totally disruptive, right? If you're just scarfing your food down, right? Like, you're in, adrenaline state, shoving food in your mouth when you
going
need to
down,
be
driving,
you need to be in rest and digest to break your food down, right? Like, so if you're having digestive issues, the first thing you need to do is take a deep breath before you eat and chew your food. Almost that would probably solve your digestive issues. If you can actually think about, if you think about the meal you're eating, okay, and like I make really good food. Mike makes really good food. I'm not always the cook. So I have to say that. Shout out to Mike. So, and you look at it and it's like, yeah, that's going to be a good meal. You start to salivate. The saliva in your mouth, those enzymes. So that's your digestive juices going. If you can almost do that every single time you eat, then you've triggered that digestive response. So it's something you can't see, but you can definitely feel that happening. Yeah. And then you know you're ready to eat. And then try to actually taste your food and enjoy it and sit there. And that would be the most ideal time to put your phone aside and be present.
Enjoy the meal. It actually makes sense because that is what's happening when you go to a restaurant that you've never been before.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. You get the smells.
You take the time, you start to feel the taste, and you start eating.
The food finally comes out because it's always too late.
Yeah, and honestly, like I think too, like it's a perfect example when you're on vacation. People always are like, "Well, I feel great. Like I didn't eat that great, but I didn't have any of my digestive issues, or I ate something I would normally eat at home, but it didn't bother me on vacation." It's because you're literally turning on your parasympathetic nervous system. You're in rest and digest because you're relaxed. So you're digesting your food better.
Yeah.
So that's, if you could just take a little bit of that and put it into your everyday hustle and bustle, then I think that would do you wonders for your health and your digestion.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So if you we talked about balance just before we jumped in the podcast. Mm-hmm. Could you tell me what you define as balance?
I think it's allowing yourself to recognize when you feel astray from who you think you are, or not necessarily who you think you are, but like feeling good. That feeling when you're like, yeah, everything is great. That's a good place to feel, right? Everything is, kind of aligned. You feel like you got all your ducks in a row. That's a really good place to feel you're doing things that align with your morals and values and everything that you like. And then oftentimes we find ourselves astray from that. Or we find ourselves not feeling that way, or we feel ill, or we're feeling off, or whatever. And I think that is really important to recognize so that you know where to pull yourself back to.
So the first step is to recognize it.
Yeah, to know where you feel good. Yeah. And if you don't feel good right now, maybe have that vision of what that looks like for you. And that's never a pant size. Okay, like it really isn't.
Yeah, makes sense.
Okay, like when you thought about that for that moment, it wasn't your jean size. Okay, so you're picturing what that feels like truly to just be living like your true authentic life. Like, I'm just doing my thing, I'm listening to some punk rock music, swinging around a mace, spending time with my family, experiencing life with these happy people around me, and that's what I'm doing. And then sometimes I got to do something that I don't want to do, or something that's temporarily an issue, or, we all come across it, traumas or things that happen in life, your roof leaks or, whatever. And that, I don't know if that's just an example, but then it's like, it's not the end of the world. And so it's good to recognize like where you feel this is taking you out of balance. Try to maintain here through that sort of scenario. And then bring yourself back here. So I think it's being able to recognize too, if you are led astray, that you don't feel, that way. So I don't think that gives you a definition of balance, but it allows you to kind of picture what that is. And I think it's different for everybody. Yeah. I do. Yeah. So recognizing where that stands, and then being able to recognize when you're out of it and what you need to pull you back to it. So having tools and techniques, I think, is really important, and that's what we provide.
So are those individual techniques for every person that's different, or are there some tips that you could give?
Yeah, I feel like you kind of have to have like a little bag of them. I don't think you always need the exact same thing. Okay. I definitely call on exercise generally first, but I have to say, when I had a 2-year-old, or when I had a baby, and we weren't sleeping at night, it wasn't a hard workout that I needed at that time of my life, right? I needed to move, but I needed to sleep.
Yeah.
So sleep was what I needed to find my balance again. I was sleep deprived for a long time. She's not a good sleeper, so I don't know. To those people who have good sleeping babies, like, be grateful, because like I was sleep deprived for a long time, and that's all I needed. I needed movement, but it wasn't what I'm doing now. And I had to, it was tough for me because what I wanted to be doing, I couldn't be doing. But I was still doing something for myself. So I was able to recognize I'm still doing something for myself to maintain balance, but also to take care of not only a baby, but a business. So like as a self-employed person, you don't get a mat leave as a mother. So that was definitely where the imbalances came in my life. So working my way back, knowing that my life was temporary, out of balance, like I had to wake up almost every day, give myself a little pep talk, know that it was just temporary. I wasn't going to be in that state of mind forever, and that I was just going to make it through today. So I had to do that. Well, I didn't like the way that I felt at that time of my life. It was definitely out of balance. Nothing I was in control of. I can't help that I was up all night long or whatever. But I also have to wake up the next day and do my thing and like keep trucking along. What I created and my business that I created was really important to me, and I didn't want to let it go. So, you know, I did what I could to make it through
to get by that time.
Yeah. And then now I'm through it. Right? So like, and I'm so proud of that, you know, like just being consistent to myself, and then watching almost myself. This would be the second time then that I've gone from zero, you know, and built myself up, right? The first time when I recognized I needed health and fitness in my life, and then the second time being pregnant and then rebuilding it back up, because I lost a lot of my fitness when I had a baby, and you do. And it's important for moms to not jump right back into heavy lifting. You know, having a baby is hard on your pelvic floor, it's hard on your core. You know, there's a lot of dysfunction that happens there. So I teach women now how to restore their core and pelvic floor, so that when they're exercising, they don't have incontinence, and so that they're, you know, not doing box jumps and worrying about peeing or like skipping or whatever. And that's a huge concern for a lot of women. And I think it's important to be in a safe environment, knowing that you have trainers that are educated in that, knowing that you want to work really hard and you want to be your best version of yourself again, but that you're also a new mom, and that you also have to take time to heal your body first and then work your way back up. And so I didn't know if it was going to work when I was doing it. I never did that before. Taking the time, doing my core breathing, doing the core exercises that I was trained to do, doing that and slowly building back up, you know, successfully not peeing my pants while I exercise, you know, feels really good. And then also now to be almost feels like I'm stronger than I ever was before. And really mentally, I think too, like working through something like sleep deprivation, right? You know, I think
it's not one night. No,
it's not one night. So, you know, I feel like that's something that is really rewarding, and those are real life struggles that you have to work through, like real people. So, you know, I post really great videos. I mean, I think they're great, but I post like videos, you know, of the exercises that we do or whatever. It's hard to communicate this sort of stuff. You know, I'm not some sort of superhuman person who just like exercises all the time and this is all I do. This is like real life.
It's the highlight reel though.
Right.
Everyone's social media is a highlight reel. Right?
Totally.
Nobody posts the lowlights.
No.
Well, I mean, some people do, but most people do.
But, you know, it's important to sort of, you know, recognize that that's the priority. that's my medications. That's what I do to make sure that I get through this crazy life, you know? So, and it doesn't have to be that, but some people really love what we do at the gym. Some people really love the unconventional style of training, you know? So I think it's really cool to feel functional, like you can move your body well, and that gives you some sort of superpowers, I think, in real life outside of the gym, for sure.
So where's your gym located?
We're on Main Street, actually 209 Main Street. So it's funny when you gave me your address, but
that's right.
210 Main Street, it's funny.
Oh, really?
It's 210 Main Street East, right?
So it's 209 Main Street in Woodstock. We're Unit 3. I painted our doors bright green so you can't miss it. We're in the same building as the Fastener Center, located beside Action Wellness.
Nice.
Action and Wellness, shout out to them, have some salt caves in there as well, which is really wonderful.
Cool.
Yeah, they've really transformed the back of their unit too. They do a lot of different holistic stuff in there as well too. There's some pretty great people if you're trying to heal your body as well. They do some different stuff than we do, different therapies. But yeah, I like being in
Good partnership.
I like being in the same vicinity as them for sure. They're great. And then we have Maya like right around the corner. So Maya Health Foods is like just around the corner. So it's nice if people are out and about and, you know, just work out at the gym and they need to grab something healthy.
So if someone wants to get in contact with you, they just show up at the gym, or they call you, or what do you like?
We used to be open to the public. So we used to have open store hours, and that was one of those changes that I made, having a 2-year-old and trying to put my effort and energy into the things that we do best. So we closed the store mostly. Like I said, we have some really, really great health food stores in town. So like I said, Mayo or Inside You, where people can grab those products now. Chemical-free living and healthy foods and that sort of stuff has become more well-known. So in Woodstock, they can go to those places so they don't need us. If they're going, like for that sort of stuff, if they're going to contact us or they want to check out the gym, they can book a personal training consult through our website. They can just request a time with one of us to meet. We give them a personal tour because we're just a small facility. And we know everybody. You're not walking in and getting like the same tour over and over again. That's been rehearsed 7 million times. We're real people. We like to talk to you and know what your goals are so that then we can kind of advise you whether maybe the classes are right for you, or if it's one-on-one training, or if you do need some sit down for nutrition or stretching or whatever. We can talk to you about that and kind of give you a gist of like the programming that we have to offer, and then again place you with the right trainer as well. So they can book online. They can of course call us. We're not always right there to pick up the phone, so we'll call you back. Email is always great. That we always definitely get generally right away because again the stupid phone thing.
Stupid phones, we need them, right?
Stupid phones, we need those things. Just because we do like to have clients come in, we got to be on top of that. Social media is huge. If you message us on Instagram or Facebook, we'll get that.
That's how I got in contact with you. So that's
So you starting an online course, you said, or you starting some sort of course?
Yeah. So I think it's really important for me to be expanding just some of the unconventional stuff a little bit more, especially the steel mace. So the steel mace is a tool that we don't see around here
anywhere.
So to be honest, I'm pretty sure that I'm one of the first people in Canada to be using a steel mace. There's a couple people across Canada that I see working out with it, but not training with it, not really teaching it or educating about it. And I love it. It's a wonderful tool. So I've just launched my workshop online that you can download and follow at home. I have a local company making us steel maces so that you don't have to order from outside of Canada. So if you need a steel mace, you can order that online. You can pick it up locally. I haven't figured out shipping yet, but I'm sure I can arrange that. That's just very new. And so I'm trying to just build some of those classes that we offer in person that everybody loves and putting them into a format online. So even if you do work out at a gym elsewhere, or you're outside of the area, or you can't make it to our class times, you can still take our class formats and take them with you to the gym wherever you are. I know that the people that do come and experience alternate routes love it, and I think that maybe we just need a little bit more of that out there, and it would help if you don't know what to do at the gym, having some sort of content to follow, right? So, and it's definitely a little bit of, outside of the box, learning different things and getting really strong just by using these simple tools, which is really fantastic. So some of that is online already. Some downloadable meal plans too, if you need some meal plan ideas, some liver cleanses just to help the body clear some of those toxins out. So some of that is online as well that you can just download, which is super easy. Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Cool.
So you've built a business.
Yep.
You're fairly young.
Yes.
You've built a nice team. You have multiple trainers, and you got a nice thing on the go.
Thank you.
That has been a journey.
Yes.
And there's a lot of people. Entrepreneurship in general is quite a thing that everyone kind of likes to do.
Yes.
Start their own business, do their own thing. What is the biggest challenge you had, and what is the biggest tip you would have for anyone starting out?
I think being an entrepreneur is challenging. I don't want to encourage people to just jump into it without building a solid plan. I think having a solid plan makes for a good business.
Yeah.
Knowing where you need people, and if it grows, where you will need them down the road, so that you know, okay, if this does do well, what and or who will I need, and kind of have an idea of who maybe that could be for you.
Yeah.
So that you don't have to do everything yourself. And I think it's really important that if what you're doing doesn't work, that you stop doing it and switch gears.
Recognize it.
Sometimes we are engaged in something emotionally because it was there from the beginning, or it was something that was your idea and it was on that big plan. But once you start going, it's not really what everybody wants. Yeah. And you have, just because you want it doesn't mean that everybody else.
The market decides.
The market decides, and you have to be okay to let it go and move on to something else. Otherwise, your business will completely fail.
Yeah.
So you have to be able to kind of go with that and be able to be adaptable to that and not hold on to too much of that emotion with what your plans were. As long as you're doing something that you're aligning with and that you believe in and that you're putting good energy into, I think that that's where you'll be successful.
I think you got to be okay with failure.
You have to be okay with failure. Oh man, you have to. Yeah. Like it doesn't. Like you said, everybody sees the highlight reel, but like there's a lot of hard days. It's a lot of hard conversations. It's a little bit of blood, sweat, and tears for sure. You want the best for what you're doing, and you want the best for everybody you're trying to help. So you work really hard, and you usually do that behind the scenes, right? Yeah. So I think it's really important, though, like you said, to be okay with failing. But those moments make you better. They make you stronger.
You learn from them.
You learn from them. And so it's important to not be hard on yourself about it, even though that's part of the challenge. But also have good people in your pocket that keep you going and encourage you to keep going when you feel like, maybe this isn't right, this isn't good, or whatever. Mm-hmm. Have those people with you and keep them there, and to say thank you when the storm is cleared, right? Yeah. And say like, thanks for that, high five, you got me through it, we got through it together, we did it. And then know that within that conflict or that time, with those people, because actually I listened to a podcast recently that said like you need conflict to have a good team. Because if everybody is super happy, somebody's talking about someone behind your back or whatever. No. If you can conflict, you can, you can see through people's ideas, and you can really have that really great conversation.
You strive for resolution.
Yeah, resolution, right? And then everyone's on the same page, and then you go forward. Yeah. Right? So I think it's about really knowing that we're all very different on the team. We all bring different ideas, but once the idea is set, that's the idea you're going to go with. Yeah. And I think it's really important to have those people by your side. Yeah. So.
Awesome. Thank you so much for joining.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me.
Definitely.
Yeah, lots of fun.
Episode 9 of the Canadian Hustlers podcast, and we'll be back next week.